story time. You really gonna make all that racket? You gonna shake? Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Edmonds, and welcome back to Unintentionally Me, because I'm being unintentionally me today. I hope you are all being unintentionally you. So today I am mixing things up. As you can see, I am doing a face-to-face video today. Well, not really face-to-face, but you know what I mean. I've done one of these on my channel. That was the first video on this channel, which is called Who Am I? It is actually an unlisted video now. You have to have the link to see it. You can see that video on my website. I do have a website. It's not a paid website, so obviously it's going to be like, you know, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the link will be in the description. It's a Wix website. They're really good. I would recommend you go use it. It's a really fun website to do. So I have a story to tell all 21 of you. And this is the story of how I thought I lost my leg. Story time! So, 2 years ago, we went to a kind of Halloween theme park, kind of scare place, right? Now, this is the first time I went to this, right? I usually go to like a full-on theme park, like Universal Studios, Disneyland, or not Disneyland, but like Universal Studios or something to that extent where you get like scared, right? But you also have rides. This year I went to one that was just like a scariness, right? It was no, there was no like rides. This story time, once again. So we went to this Halloween themed like scare park or whatever it was. It has like 3 main attractions. We went on all 3 main attractions. I'll save the best for last, which is where my story comes into play. The time I thought I lost my leg. Now this was 2 years ago. Right now I am 15, almost 16 years of age. I'll be 16 in November. So I was 13, almost 14, when this story occurred. So I was a little younger and such. So this was the first time I was there at this thing. So we did the haunted house, the haunted forest, and the last thing we did was the haunted hayride. The haunted forest and the haunted house, obviously my family made me lead, the youngest, anyway. So I led, and I ended up running through it because there was this one guy that came up behind me and was just like in a freaking clown mask. I'm not scared of clowns, it was just freaking terrifying to me. And the way it happened is they would like freaking come out of the walls and everything. I don't even know how they do this. You would have to be like super duper thin. Not me. And so the way it happened is then I ran so far in this haunted house that I reached this like pirate thing or whatever it was. It was like a pirate haunted maze type thing. Anyway, I was like almost through this whole maze by the time my family caught up, and then I ended up running back because I didn't want to deal with those freaking like scary haunted people. So I ran all the way back because I didn't want to deal with those people by myself. And then my family started busting up laughing at me, and then we all got scared again. And then we get up there, and then the guy was like, "Alrighty, mateys, don't be running in here." This is what's ironic about the haunted hayride. This haunted hayride was the scariest freaking thing I have ever been on in my entire life. Let me tell you, by the time I got out of this one, I was full on tears. I was full on freaking out, right? This one is made for children, and it still is to this day. The website, the ride, everything says this ride is for children. And the thing is because you could, as a kid, bury your face into your parents' lap or whatever it may be if you needed to. Right? Well, clearly I didn't sit next to my parents, right? I sat right in the front. We were right in front of the hayride. And so, and then I was sitting next to a family friend, and then it was, what it was my sister Emily, my dad, my other sister Brianna, her husband, our family friend, and then it was me right here, all in the front. We were kind of like a front L, right? Front backwards L. And so this ride started taking off. And then so we kind of just go, right? So then we kind of move through the whole little thing. Then we get to this one part, and let me tell you, this one part literally freaked me out. So we get to this one part, and there's like these little jack-in-the-boxes, right? This is not the part that freaked me out, because obviously you know what a jack-in-the-box is going to do. It's going to pop out, right? It sounded like a chihuahua. We get to this one part of the ride where they have all this music, and it was like, okay, and then it was like, you know, the music kept getting louder and louder and louder, and then all of a sudden, these like little clown people started coming out, and they were starting to like twirl the little like jack-in-the-box things, and then out came these one things, and then it launched out like blood, like fake blood, and like confetti type thing. I think that's what it was anyway. I can't really remember, quite sure what came out, but I know there was something. I think it might have been confetti that looked like blood. And then you started to hear and smell, or you started to smell gasoline, and then you started to hear a chainsaw. This is when it got real. Let me tell you that this was the experience of a lifetime. Story time. I just like saying that. Don't you guys just like saying that? Like, just say it. Story time. Double chin at risk. These guys with chainsaws started just flying, and I mean, they were running and running and running. I don't even know how freaking they ran so fast. They were running with working chainsaws. These chainsaws worked. Obviously, they didn't have a chain on them, so it wouldn't cut through you. But I did not know this, okay? So let me tell you what happened. Is they come through like freaking the little thing, right? And I'm sitting up like this kind of thing, right? Or no? Yeah, I'm sitting up kind of like this. Let's turn to the side so you can see it a little bit better. So let's adjust this camera. So I was sitting up like this. If it decides to cooperate with me on camera. There it is. So I was sitting up kind of like this, right? And I kind of had my arms like this, right? And so then they start running and running and running and running and running and running until they latched on to the side of the, like, the little thing we were sitting on, like the hayride thing, the trailer. And then they started jumping on top of the trailer, and then they were, before you know it, they were in the middle, like going around, right? And then, they're not even supposed to touch you, bear in mind this. So this also was freaking me out, right? So then, out of nowhere, the guy with the chainsaw came at my leg. He literally touched my leg, and it was like, so then, obviously, instant, I was like, oh my gosh, I lost my freaking foot. I literally started crying. I literally started freaking out. I was literally done. I was done with the ride. I was done with it all. I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh. I've lost my foot. I was like, what am I gonna do without my foot? And then, as I start freaking out, I thought I lost my foot. Bear in mind you, I am crying. I am freaking out. I am panicking. And let me tell you what happened next. Okay? As I'm crying, and then the guy keeps coming at me, and I already thought I lost my one leg. Right? And obviously I didn't feel any pain. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in shock. I don't feel any pain. I was too scared. I had my eyes closed. I was covering my face like this, right? I wasn't looking at my foot or anything, right? I was just, hold on. Just doing this because I thought, oh my gosh, I lost my foot. And then the guy kept coming towards me, and I literally flew back like this, right? Because I didn't want him to touch me any more than he did. Then I flew into the strangers behind me laps. It was a guy, his kid. His kid was like a child, bear in mind you. Wasn't crying, nothing. I was the weakest, wimpiest human being, man alive. Let me tell you, this was a traumatic experience for me. It's just near and dear to my heart of horror, right? Pure horror. So then he comes at me, straight, just like keeps coming at me, and so then I fly back onto the guy and his family behind me, all laps. I literally sprawl out on top of all of them. I'm just like enjoying it. I'm just freaking out, right? So then as I do this, I'm literally like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought I lost my leg. I'm like losing my leg. I was like, oh my gosh. I was freaking out. My family over here in the corner, bear in mind you, not worried about me one bit, cracking the heck up. Literally, they were like laughing so hard. Sisters weren't scared. Family friends weren't scared. My brother-in-law wasn't scared. None of them scared. Nothing. We're just cracking up at me. And here I'm like, oh my gosh. You guys, I'm experiencing a traumatic experience here, and you're laughing at me about it? I don't think so, right? So then, I finally get it together, and I finally uncover my eyes. After flying back, hitting this guy's family in like the face, I think I hit his wife in like the nose, and I'm sure I flippin' hit the father or whatever that was sitting behind me in the face with my hand or something. And then the kid, he was just like sitting there just like laughing at me. I mean, he wasn't even scared. And like bear in mind, he was like 3, 4, right? And I'm sitting here like 13 years old is when I was at this age. And I'm just sitting here hysterically crying. I'm just like, what's my foot, right? No. Right? I ended up not losing my foot. Like, look, both feet, right? So then, I finally decide to I finally decide to open my eyes. And then I see both my feet are there. So then by this point, everybody on the entire trailer was laughing at me. Okay, first of all, humiliating. Second of all, you don't know what I went through. It was freaking traumatic, right? Right? Okay, I'm glad you're with me, okay? Alright, good, great. I'm glad you're with me, right? Okay, alright, okay, okay, alright? You with me? You sure? What about you? Huh? Sure? Okay, moving on. So then, my way of working through things a lot of the time is either writing something down and working through it in a journal, or I start to make jokes. My family and the entire trailer was laughing at me. Children, adults, everybody was laughing at me. And here I am, flew back on the other people's laps, and I finally, after I finally started to look at my feet and see that I had both my feet, and then I stopped panicking. Then I scoot forward, and then the freaking guys at the chainsaws come back again. Again. Are you listening? I said again. They come back for the second time out of flipping nowhere. I thought the ride was over. No. Was I wrong? Right? So here we have like these fire baskets that shoot out like fire. So then these guys come out of literally nowhere. Like literally it was black forest, okay? Black forest, okay? So they come flying through here with a chainsaw. It's like, yeah? And so then as they're flying towards me, they literally come after me again. And I think it's because they knew I was panicking. Then I said, I'm not having it. I'm not gonna have it. Obviously, because, anyway. These clowns come out of here with nowhere with like a stupid chainsaw again. And then out of nowhere, they literally, the only person they were coming after was me. So then everybody started laughing again. But then the ride was finally over. They finally kind of just dispersed it, and I wasn't freaking out as much the second time. I was still a little scared, right? Because I was still pumped with some adrenaline and stuff. So then I started cracking jokes. I was like, and this is meant for children. Why? Like, and then the one. Sorry, it's a traumatic experience for me. So then the one kid sitting behind me was like, "It was meant for children. It's not scary." And I was like, okay, first of all, you don't know what I went through. Second of all, you don't know what I went through. Okay, third, humiliating because everybody was laughing at me. Anyway, it was just so funny and exciting to kind of experience this afterwards because this was the last ride of the day. We rode this like literally 1 a.m. close to closing because I think they closed at like 2 a.m. or something. So this was our last ride of the day, and we thought, okay, this one's probably not going to be the scariest one, so that'll kind of be our cool down or whatever, right? No, not for me. It was for my family and everybody on the trailer, because obviously I was a comic relief for everybody, right? They were terrified the entire night. Then I thought I got my freaking leg chopped off, and then everybody decides to start laughing at me. Here, I'm in tears. Family doesn't even care. Right, and that sounds bad, but it's not. It was like they were cracking up, and then they checked on me after the ride. And then after the ride, I was finally cooled down, and I was like, okay, that was funny. You're right. And even though I only have 20 subscribers, I thank you all every day. It is such a blessing. Be sure to follow me on all my social platforms. I'm on Musical.ly, Vine, Twitter, Instagram, obviously YouTube. Anyway, thank you all. My name is Joseph Edmonds. I'll see you all in the next video. I'm unintentionally me. Remember to be unintentionally you. Bye!